And as much as like removing money from the equation, and honestly at this point I don't even think money is really the driving force.
Yeah, just to get it out there, me and her are both multimillionaires and have been for many years. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So money's not the driving force. So
I'm not really doing anything with any of the money I make. I don't have any sort of like fancy habits or hobbies or anything like that. And she's the same way as me. I mean, we're into buying property and starting businesses and stuff like that, but it's not really about the money and what we can do with it because we don't really do anything with it. You're actually broke.
Here's the funny.
You got a milk dud on top of your head.
Here's the funny thing.
I'm just being real with you.
If I was actually broke, it literally would mean nothing to me.
Why did you do an NFT scam on your fans for like $400? I don't want to listen to this guy anymore, and I feel like I might do something extreme if I were to stick around.
Hold on. When I first walked in, I said,
might
"Do you
have
want
to
the
polish that milk dud."
When I saw you downstairs, I said, "Do you want the fade?" And you said no.
Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, "I'm not gonna let the wolf eat me anymore"? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into some real talk. Recently, the podcast world has been buzzing about Item 22, the host of No Jumper. Now, I gotta say, there's controversy and then there's choices. Now, these choices that make you question a person's values, let's dissect this with an open mind and maybe even draw a few lessons from it.
On this podcast, the host, Brian, starts off with introductions, including their relationship status. Let's watch Adam explain his.
I've been married for about 6 months. I've been in a relationship for about 7 years, and we are monogamous off camera, but we are open on camera.
Now, the fact that this man believes that anything about his relationship is traditional blows my mind. Like, I don't see how Adam 22 believes that his relationship with Elena is any way, in any sense or any form, traditional. It is the most untraditional relationship that I have ever seen. The only thing that would come close to what I've heard about is people who are actively doing it out there openly and not considering themselves to be traditional, but considering themselves to be polyamorous or what have you, whatever definition you like to place on it. Now, I refrain from covering this particular story or topic with Adam 22 for only a few reasons. For the simple fact that it promotes and it pushes an agenda that Adam and Lena has been trying to push for since they've gotten married and started to do this exploration or exploring other partners that are men coming into their bedroom, coming into their marriage and defiling it. I didn't want to perpetuate or push that particular narrative. However, I'm seeing a bit of what he would call buyer's remorse or regret coming from Adam 22 within this particular podcast interview with whatever podcast. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to cover it. But first, let me let you know the way that they're doing things and the way that they have put all of this together. It's not doing anything but causing people, causing men, causing women, who's ever watching their content to unknowingly commit adultery. I mean, and these people without full understanding are watching this content and they are in the theater of their minds seeing his wife being defiled by men that he's bringing into his marriage. And in his circumstances and where he's at emotionally and the way that he feels about it, he's not 100% in agreement with what's being taking place right now. He's just doing what he needs to do to please his Jezebel of a wife. Now, While these people are watching this content, yes, they're committing adultery for the simple fact of the theater that goes on in their mind. They're watching his wife being laid with or being known by other men has committed adultery. And the men who have laid with him knowingly has committed adultery, and which is a sin. As it states over in Matthew 5:27, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. Matthew 5:28, but I say unto you, that whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, the definition of adultery, of course, is when you lay or you sleep with another man's wife. Now, that's the only way you can really commit adultery. Anything else outside of that is whoredoms. If your one night stands is whoredoms, things like that. So we have to be very vigilant. This is my disclaimer. You have to be very vigilant in what you're watching and what you're allowing into your ear gates and your eye gates, because, you know, whether they are aware of the content that they're pushing is causing people to sin or commit adultery, even people who are Christ followers and things like that. Whether they are aware of it or whether they're not aware of it, it's still happening. And what the Most High has said is, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because they reject knowledge, and therefore I shall reject them. And that is Hosea 4:6. The people who are Christ followers, or the people who follow Yahweh, they need to understand what they're getting themselves into when watching this video, and prepare themselves spiritually to listen to all this debauchery that's going on in this particular interview. Now, with that being said, let's get into it.
Yeah. So, recently, and
what does that mean? She said.
What does that mean?
We work with other people in terms of porn content, but besides that, we're monogamous.
Mm-hmm. So
they have to be getting paid if they're sleeping with other people. You like that? You like how I did that? Let's work.
So you recently were involved. You did like a reality TV series, kind of, to see who. Correct me if I'm wrong. To see who would be the next person who gets to have sexual intercourse with your wife, Lena. Is that?
Well, the reality show was intended to find our first boy-girl threesome.
So
it was a 4-episode series on YouTube, and then the finale, the actual scene, is on our OnlyFans. Yeah.
And you guys did the scene's done.
The scene has been completed. And decimated on the internet.
Who won the?
A guy named Lil D.
Lil D.
24-year-old gentleman from Harlem.
Is he a rapper? Or?
Now, Adam 22 has made headlines by allowing an adult film star to, how should I put this, get cozy with his wife on camera. Now, I'm not here to shame anyone's lifestyle, but when choices impact not only your life, but your family's, it's worth examining. Recently, he appeared on the Whatever podcast and ended up rage quitting after facing questions about this lifestyle. Now, these was questions that he had to dance around and couldn't really answer directly. Now, these are questions that are directly related to the choices he's made to allow men to sleep with his current wife. So let's get right back into it.
Adam writes, can't believe the world gets to see me bang my wife with another dude tonight on OnlyFans.
The person who's gonna my wife is Lil D. Stop playing with me.
Look at him laughing. Oh, this is so crazy.
Should we go upstairs right now?
I'm with it. I don't give a
Wow.
Let's do it. Boy, the things I'm gonna do to you.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is gonna be the night of your life. Hey, we're not on camera yet. Okay. Wait, hold up. My bad.
He just won. Let him touch it.
I gotta be the husband of the year. Let me tell you, I am the one.
On the block all day with my wife and the dude I just banged her with. It's crazy to think how much of a flex that this is not, but he apparently is turning it into that because being a cuck is a kink to him. Apparently.
Previously, there was this big thing where with Lena and Jason Love.
Right.
That was a big thing.
That was her first time sleeping with another guy in 7 years of us being together, and she did that on camera. That was her first ever scene with somebody besides me.
And are you guys thinking of like continuing this trend, or like how do you feel about it? Because I've seen like some clips where you've kind of been like cool with it, but then others where you're kind of like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about it. Or
I mean, I was a little bit conflicted when she actually shot the scene with the other guy, just in the sense that, you know, she's going off and filming something with somebody else. I'm not there. When we shot the scene with the other guy, Lil D, I didn't feel any kind of weirdness about that. It was pretty mutual. Okay. So for sure that, definitely by the time we're done in the adult business, I'm sure she'll have shot other scenes with other guys and everything, yeah.
Okay.
There's not a damn thing in life I'm going to be conflicted with when it revolves around my woman. To say that he was conflicted means to me that this was her idea and it's something that he was not comfortable with. Point number 2 of the fall of the man today, unable to communicate their desires and their wants in lieu of what their woman wants. But now that he has allowed this egregious thing to happen to his wife, his boundaries now expand. So another guy wanted to dip into his wife's viscous innards is not such a big deal anymore. The act of continuously opening your boundaries while in a marriage to the point of complacency is where we get the term happy wife, happy life. Now, at this point in the podcast, Satan the Sitter asked Adam22 a series of very intelligent questions. Pay attention, pay close attention to Adam's answers.
Gotcha.
Can I ask Adam a question?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is this for the money, or just like you're like, this is what I'm called to do?
Pay attention.
I would say it's primarily for the money, the same way that probably most of the girls here wouldn't be naked on the internet if they didn't have OnlyFans that were profitable for them. But at the same time, I mean, me and her have been hooking up with other girls for the duration of our relationship, and we actually had one off-camera boy-girl threesome with my wife and a friend of mine within like the first month that I met her. We were out drinking one night and we ended up having some fun in that sense. So it's not like completely outside the realm of things that I would do for free, but you know, we don't have a lot of crazy off-camera sexual experiences. Almost everything that we do that's out of the ordinary is on.
Now let's draw a parallel here. In the Bible, there's a story about Ahab and Jezebel. Ahab made choices that went against his values. And Jezebel, well, let's just say that she had her own set of issues. But what we can learn from this is that choices have consequences. And that the ripple effect can be felt by those who are closest to you.
Your alarm bell should be going off right now because prior to doing this video with his wife, he was already a multimillionaire. So ask yourself, what is the soul, the decrepit layer of a soul of a human being that's already filthy rich, doing the most abhorrent shit, sacrificing the sanctity of his wife for even more money? This is a level of greed that can never be satiated. It can never be fulfilled. Only his need to be debaucherous is what satiates his being. That he already did a boy-girl with his wife a month into the relationship. Whoa.
So is there, because I don't know what you're worth, but I have a sense that you're doing reasonably well. So if there was no money to be made, would you continue on with it?
I think that was a conversation that her and I had that made us realize that we wanted to kind of start pushing the boundaries of what we were doing on camera. Was she said, do you really think that we're going to be together for the next 20 years and that we're never going to swap or bring
he's not answering the question.
Penis into our sexual situation? And I said, no, I definitely feel like I'm comfortable enough that I could see us doing that as time goes by. And then we ended up actually orchestrating it on camera.
Are you bisexual?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's sign up. All right. So with regards to bringing the other dude in, would you say that was primarily driven by her?
I would say it was very mutual. You know, we just kind of realized that, you know, after doing that Jason Lowe scene, we just didn't realize how viral the whole thing was going to be. And so we kind of got set on the path of thinking about how we could take it to the next level, because it ended up being like by far the most viral thing that any of us had ever been involved with. So at that moment we kind of realized like, oh, this is kind of our thing now. We have to sort of push at the edges of our conventional relationship, and the people will be incapable.
Bruh.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Ain't
mostly
not conventional, bro.
well, I mean, we sleep with other girls, but off camera our relationship is entirely traditional.
Crazy. All right. So what I'm really trying to figure out is, because You said you were
motivation.
uncomfortable with the Jason Love scene initially, right?
I was a little conflicted about it. It was a little bit of a weird thing.
And so I'm trying to figure out like where your soul is, and as much as like removing money from the equation. And honestly, at this point, I don't even think money is really the driving force.
Just to get it out there, me and her are both multimillionaires and have been for many, many years. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So money's not the driving force. So if it were just up to you and she were a robot as opposed to a human, and you could have it to where you could have things open on your side but closed on her side, would you prefer that?
Good question.
To be honest, she came to me before we started kind of pushing out the boundaries of our relationship, and she said, what do you think that we should do? Do you think that I should just kind of hang it up and have another kid? Or do you think that we should keep doing this for a few more years and kind of see how far we can take things? And I said, you know what, let's push at the edges. Let's see how far we can take this. So it is primarily a financial thing, but also I can say that when we shot the scene with this other guy the other day, I had a great time. It was fun overall.
Like your time was enhanced because he was there. Because me personally, I like my meat to be the only one on the sandwich.
Right. No, it was exciting. It was exhilarating for sure.
Like, what kind of?
Now, Adam, probably unbeknownst to him, is actually in a very precarious situation at this junction in the conversation because he's allowing Saint to just cross-examine him. And already we hear so many contradictions within that cross-examine him. He just admitted a second ago that it was mostly for the money, but then he said before that it mostly is not money motivated. Then he asked, is he bisexual, to understand if there's some type of LGBTQ motivation. Then he asked, was the idea of involving a BBC into the relationship for profit, was that driven by her? Adam replies that it was a mutual decision, but how could it be mutual when you said previously that you had an issue initially with her doing it? Then as a follow-up, he asked, would you prefer if it was monogamous on her side while poly on your side? And Adam 22 didn't even answer the question. Pay attention.
A hot dog is just like one hot dog on the buns. Jeremy, like you got all these Vienna sausages coming out the woodwork. So you find that it's enhanced by that? Because I find like
I thought it was fun. Yeah.
Okay.
In a different way than sleeping with other girls. We've done that hundreds of times together.
Right.
So this was something that switched it up a little bit. Yeah.
Do you think with all of these unusual sexual experiences that it might lead you down a path to where you have to go to extreme things to get off?
No, I've been jerking off to the exact same type of content my entire life. So the idea that guys who watch porn have to sort of slowly get into more and more extreme
I'm not talking
content.
about watching it. You're in it.
Right, yeah. But I mean, I've been doing porn on camera with her, and this is the only thing that we've done that took it to another level.
Again, another contradiction. The fact that you're so used to and been involved with watching porn your entire life was the preceding event to you wanting to be a part of it, which is the preceding event of you wanting your wife to be a part of it with other men.
If we did 7 years straight of just having sex with other girls on camera, this is the only thing that we've done that kind of opened it up a little bit, to the tune of us becoming like probably one of the most viral couples in America in the past year. So in terms of where we could take it, I mean, I'm not doing any gay shit. And so that's probably like the primary thing. We've had obviously people asking us if we would ever shoot with a trans person. I'm not interested in that either. So I can't really think of where we would take it.
Okay, without belaboring it, I'm gonna let you carry on.
Sure.
Just one last piece. Sometimes we aren't really, seeing ourselves in as much as you said she brought the conversation to you. You said that you didn't feel comfortable initially with the Jason Love being involved in.
Well, I agreed to the Jason Love thing. It was just once it actually took place, I had a tiny amount of buyer's remorse that I quickly replaced with realizing like, oh, this is not a big deal. Nothing changed in our relationship after she shot with another guy. So that was pretty abated quickly.
Right. So it's like called the inversion of morals, which is to say that truth be told, in your heart of hearts, you're not comfortable with it. You want to retain your spouse.
I've had moments of
one second. I didn't interrupt you.
With it,
I didn't interrupt you at all because I do want to hear you out.
You're kind of pushing like a fake narrative by saying that I'm uncomfortable with it.
But I never interrupted you.
Very comfortable.
I never interrupted you because I want to hear you out.
I just wanted to save you a little bit of breath by correcting you before.
I'm not trying to get you angry. I sincerely am interested in what you have to say, but I didn't interrupt you one time. So the reason I ask is because, as I said, you started off, you said that you felt uncomfortable when it happened. She brought up the conversation. You're not bisexual. So sometimes when things happen and you want to keep your lady, you make the adjustment, compromising, but in your heart of heart, that's not really what you wanted. So you're being open, and then you had this idea planted, and then you start adopting it, thinking like, okay, well, I'm okay with it. Maybe it's something that I signed off on too. So you assign it mutuality when in actual fact, the inception of that idea came from her and you've adjusted to it.
I wouldn't say the inception of the idea came entirely from her. This is a conversation we've been having throughout the entirety of our relationship as we met more and more male performers that I was comfortable with, and sort of slowly over time realized that this is something that we both felt comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you say that you were comfortable with, right, and it came over time, whereas with the females, it just came straight away, almost like a natural thing, you might say.
Right.
So why in terms of when the guy comes along, there has to be a process, because it's a process of adjusting to something that's unpleasant.
Great.
Now, here's where things start to get real interesting and questioning. Because it is a man's nature to be possessive. It is a man's nature to want to protect and to shield and to guard and to cherish his woman. And for that woman to only have eyes and to be with him. So it is very interesting that he's hit with this line of questioning. And admittedly, I know for sure this is going to stir up his spirit because of the simple fact that he knew that before he did an interview and said that he would never allow another man into the scenes with him and his wife. And now all of a sudden he's got a different tune, a different song, a different dance, to where he's allowing these men to sleep with his wife. So this is very interesting. Let's get back to it.
Question.
Why was there a process that it took some adoption? What are you asking?
Yeah, it seems as though different than the females came naturally, and it seemed to not be an issue.
It was a very clearly worded question. I think he was trying a diversionary tactic to get himself up out of it. But I would say a question like that is a check. Let's not say it's a checkmate on the board, because I'd be interested to see his answer to that. But Adam may have felt checkmated, so he diverted his attention.
Donated $200. I guess it is fair that you get to bang other girls, so logically she should get outside D. Still, gotta be tough to see another dude rail your woman. Also, paging Butler, these folks need your wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this dude gets it, that of course it's going to be a little awkward for you to go through the transition of seeing your girl do that for the first time. But ultimately, she told me, even up until the moment that she was leaving the house to go shoot it, she's like, I won't do this if you don't feel comfortable with it. And I told her, even though there is a degree to which I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm still willing to give this a shot because I realize the underlying value. And I mean, to be honest, we've both made 7 figures off of that one scene in and of itself.
And I believe that. I don't doubt the financial aspect at all. But like, for example, I know maybe people watching might not be able to relate to this, but say once you cross $2 million, right? Have you found that there are a significant number of things you can do with money that you can't do when you have 2 million versus say 15 million?
I'm not really doing anything with any of the money I make. I don't have any sort of like fancy habits or hobbies or anything like that. And she's the same way as me. I mean, we're into buying property and starting businesses and stuff like that, but it's not really about the money and what we can do with it, because we don't really do anything with it.
It's so crazy because you're hearing him say at one junction, it's not about the money, but then you just hear him say that it was money motivated. Money is not everything, fellas. There should not be a man that is watching this content right now that should ever sell their soul for $7 million. The short-term benefit of that $1 million, $2 million, let's say even $3 million should not override the long-term benefit of having a fantastic mark that you left on this world. A legacy that is worth communicating to your children or your grandchildren about. There's not a man that watches this platform that should be that damn cheap and easy.
Right, so when you say there was an underlying value,
probably just money primarily, but then also I think
you guys, all right, wait, go ahead. Let one of them talk.
Sexual
I think that's a checkmate.
Exciting,
that's a checkmate right there. That's a checkmate. Let one of them.
Morals over money at the end of the day, gentlemen. Don't become like Adam, who's a fake happy demon. So anyway, you see kind of the dynamic. The saint and the sinner is asking these questions from a morality, motivation perspective, while Adam 22 was backed into a corner, one of which logic is just not his strong suit. Let's actually fast forward to the rage quit later in the conversation. I'll say it's about 30 or so minutes later, so we can see what ticked Adam off to get him to walk out.
Here's the point. You're currently a cocktail server, which consists of, hey, I'll have a Jack and Coke. Okay. And then you walk away, tell someone else Jack and Coke. They hand you a Jack and Coke. You come back and bring it back to me and hope that I would give you a good tip. That's your skill set.
And what about it?
It's a hard work.
And what about it?
It's a hard work.
And what about it?
Yeah, there is no skill set is the point, which is to say if I took your brain, if I took your brain and placed your brain into a man's body, you would be in poverty.
You caught me.
Because you're brainless. Carrying on.
You're right, yeah. I'm just good for nothing. Yep, you caught me.
No, you are good for something. That's why you have OnlyFans. And that's my point, is that that's what you're good for. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just that
I think you are trying to be rude.
No, I'm just being honest.
No, I mean being honest about what. I mean, do you even know who I am as a person? I mean, before like throwing these insults that I'm just this brain dead fucking woman who has nothing to offer.
I think we should avoid ad hominem.
But is it ad hominem when you actually? There were some, but
brainless might be a little.
Do you even know me? Like you don't even, and you're only calling me brainless because I'm the only one responding to you.
Do you think?
You know what I think has him a little bit upset? Just so you know, every girl sitting on this side of the table earns more money than him.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's an imposter. He's been outed in the past.
And he's mad about it.
He basically LARPs
Honestly,
as a rich guy on the internet.
Now, just to give a little bit of context, Saint was going back and forth with the young lady who I believe has an OnlyFans or some degree of sex work and was talking to her regarding her relative worth or utility on the planet. As to say is that if you take your skill set and if you were to become a man, well, you wouldn't be worth much to this world. Adam interjects because this is an attack to Adam as well because he's into S work as well.
I was absolutely poor. It would mean nothing.
All the girls,
it would mean nothing.
I think we all are in kind of an agreement that we don't really want to sit here and listen to someone who's basically a scam artist tell us what's wrong with our lives.
This is amazing.
What do you do for work?
I'm on the edge of walking out, Brian. I'm gonna be totally real. I'm not walking out on like a
cliffhanger.
I just don't really want to listen to a scam artist tell me what's so wrong with our lifestyles.
You can Google my name right now. You can Google my name.
If you Google his name, you'll be exhilarated.
I hurt your feelings earlier, and
you didn't hurt my feelings at all. It's just you're trying to do this whole moral superiority thing, and it's not working because you're broke.
Your feelings.
You're actually broke.
Here's the funny.
You got a milk dud on top of your head.
Here's the funny thing.
I'm just being real with you.
If I was actually broke, it literally would mean nothing to me.
Why did you do an NFT scam on your fans for like $400?
Silly.
Checkmate. This guy's a scammer.
The first time when I saw this, I was saying to myself, oh, they must have a particular history. If you guys know what this history is, feel free to leave it down in the comment box down below because I'm not familiar with it. But I find it so odd that Adam says you're trying this morally superiority thing, but it's not working because you're broke. What does money have to do with being morally superior? I think Adam's completely wrong here. The moral superiority that he's juxtaposing to the decisions that Adam 22 has made in his life is bothering Adam. This is his deepest fear and his deepest insecurity. And now that he's out of the digital bubble where he feels protected and he's interacting with somebody who is making him feel the consequences of his actions, there goes the inevitable rage quit. Let's watch.
Is that a job as an actual scammer?
I'm going to leave, and if any girls want to leave with me, I'd be happy to take you with me.
He's rage quit.
It's not a rage quit. It's just you're not on the level of me or any of these girls.
Guys, hold on. Let's just take a little pause.
I didn't mean to make him rage quit.
I'm done, Brian. I don't want to listen to this guy anymore, and I feel like I might do something extreme if I were to stick around.
When I first walked in, I said,
I might have to polish that milk dud.
When I first walked, when I saw you downstairs, I said, "Do you want the fade?" And you said no.
Okay.
See what you.
When I first walked in, I said, "Do you want the fade?" You said no. We could have took care of that before the show started.
Do you guys have like some pre-existing beef or something?
Listen.
Can we switch Adam?
When I came in downstairs, the first thing I said when I saw him, I said, "Do you need that fade?" And he said, "No, it's just content."
Oh, I didn't know you guys had like.
Yeah, as soon as I walked up, I said, "Do you need that fade?" And he said, "No, it's just content."
Oh, but I mean, like, did you guys have like a previous?
Yeah, because I went on No Jumper. He waited until I left the state of California, and then he started talking crazy. And I said, "If you had an issue with Marquette Devon Burton, you could have said that to me when I was right there in your studio. Like, you don't have to wait until I leave."
Did you do an episode with him? I was
like, "You don't have to wait till I leave."
I don't know.
And then he DM'd me on Instagram like, "Hey, bro, we got to like do a show when you come back." It's like, you're phony.
Are you leaving?
Damn.
Can you grab him? Like,
the super villain.
Like Adam 22's,
Damn,
like the whole
the super villain.
premise of the show. What?
Wow.
I'm the super villain? What? Nobody wants
No,
to
I'm the
see
super
show.
villain. Wow.
Yeah, because you're a fucking dick and you're an idiot.
She is angry. She wants her clout. She has like a tear in her eye.
Go talk to Adam.
She has a tear in her eye.
Adam 22's rage quitting on a whatever podcast might be a sign that these choices are more complex than they seem. In any relationship, communication is key. Instead of rage quitting, let's encourage open dialogue. It's okay to disagree, but walking away doesn't solve anything. It's about understanding and finding common ground. In conclusion, family, let's remember that everyone is on their journey. But as we navigate our choices, let's be mindful of the impact that we have on those around us. Now, don't forget to like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe and click that notification bell on your way out. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.